Okay, so this is my presentation for History 4th Period Hair. What motivated Europeans to explore the seas? During the Middle Ages, Europe's economy lagged behind those of China and many other parts of Africa. However, the European markets for foreign goods were growing fast, especially after the Crusade. Europe in the world economy. European rulers and nobles wanted silk and porcelain from China, spices from South and Southeast Asia, cotton cloth from India and Egypt, and gold from West Africa. We want your stuff. Why? Europeans, however, offered few products that people in Asia and Africa wanted to buy. To pay for those goods they wanted, Europeans had to export silver and gold. By the time of the Renaissance, commerce between Europe and Asia was largely under control of the Italian city-states. Ships and merchants from the Venice and Genoa had strong ties with Cairo and other Muslim trading cities. How do you expect me to read this entire thing? Just do it! Renaissance merchants had grown wealthy trading goods imported from the other European nations wanted access to this trade without going through the Italians, so they sought a sea route to Asia that bypassed Italian trading routes in the Mediterranean Sea. Come on, people, move it! The search for spices. Renaissance traders were particularly interested in spice trade. Valuable spices were to be found in India, China, and in the Spice Islands, or Moluccas, and a chain of islands in present-day Indonesia. There, traders would purchase spices such as pepper, clove, nutmeg, and cinnamon, all in demand of Europe, winning converts to Christianity. Another reason for exploring new lands was to win converts for Christianity. Ships' crews often included Christian missionaries. Missionaries are members of a religious order who can encourage people to convert a particular religion. Missionaries remain in these new islands to set up communities and schools. Portugal takes the lead. Portugal led the world in global exploration. It was the first European nation to acquire overseas empire. How did Prince Henry the Navigator encourage exploration? Portuguese expansion began with the invasion of North Africa and the conquest of Ceuta in 1415. One of the most distinguished soldiers in that battle was Prince Henry III, son of King John I of Portugal. I am the best. Who's he talking to? Anyways, Prince Henry is credited as well with sponsoring many explorers and training them in map-making, ship design, and navigation. I'm done. No! You're gonna finish it! Part of Henry's mission in Africa was to drive out Muslims from North Africa and the Holy Land. As a devout Catholic, Henry wanted to recover Christian lands in the Mediterranean Sea that had been taken by the Muslims. The Portuguese also hoped to convert Africans, most of whom practiced Islam or traditional religions, to Christianity. In addition, the Portuguese were looking for a faster sea route to Asia by sailing around Africa. Dias rounds the Cape. In 1488, Bartolomeu Dias, a Portuguese captain, made a great discovery. Dias and his crew became the first Europeans to sail around the Cape of Good Hope at the southern tip of Africa. Da Gama's round-trip route. In 1497, Captain Vasco da Gama also sailed from South Portugal. In 3 months, his ships rounded the Cape of Good Hope and then sailed into India. Da Gama returned with a cargo of spices that he sold at a huge profit. With the money, he outfitted a new fleet of cargo ships. He returned to India to seek more profit from the spice trade. Eventually, the Portuguese seized key ports in the Indian Ocean and established a vast trading empire. I want your spices. Why? Stop asking me that! Da Gama confirmed Portugal's status as a world power. Explorers find new routes. Portugal's sea captains left Europe and headed southward, searched for sea routes to Asia. Christopher Columbus, an Italian navigator, took a different route. Columbus sails west. Like most well-educated Europeans, Columbus knew that Earth was a sphere. He reasoned that by sailing west, he could reach East Indies, a group of islands in South Asia, but he made some errors. First, Columbus underestimated the distance from Europe to West Asia. Also, no European knew that at the time that 2 landforms, North America and South America, barried the way. With backing from Spain's monarchs, Columbus sailed in August 1492. His 3 ships made swift progress across the Atlantic and landed on an island in what are known for today as Bahamas. He made 3 return voyages, hoping to find gold and other riches. He also captured and enslaved native peoples. Columbus died believing that he found a gateway to Asia. Other explorers follow. Inspired by Columbus, the Portuguese explorers, other nations sought new lands for trade. From its location on North Sea, the Netherlands had long had access to European markets. Dutch merchants soon reached Asia, where they were especially successful in East India spice trade. Dutch trading colonies sprang up in Suriname, South Africa, and Dutch East Indies, present-day Indonesia. In the 1500s, Gabriel, a Portuguese sea captain, led a fleet to the Indian Oceans. He sailed too far west and landed on the east coast of South America. He came upon the land that we know as Brazil. Between 1497 and 1504, Amerigo Vespucci, an Italian navigator, made 4 voyages of exploration, he concluded that the lands Columbus called the Indies were in fact a part of a new world. What was Magellan's feat? In 1519, Ferdinand Magellan launched the most ambitious voyage of discovery. He set out from Spain to cross the Atlantic with 5 ships and a crew with more than 250 people. He hoped to find a western route to Asia. Unlike Columbus, Magellan knew that the continent stood in his way. His fleet sailed south along the uncharted continent. For 38 days, Magellan and his weary crew navigated the treacherous waters. Finally, they threaded their way through a straight or narrow channel that led them to the Pacific Ocean. This channel was named Strait of Magellan. The continent was South America, and Magellan's feat had confirmed that there was southwest passage to Asia. Magellan continued north and sailed west across the Pacific Ocean. The journey used up all of the ship's food supplies. Many crew members died from lack of certain nutrients and vitamins. Magellan next reached the Philippine Islands, claiming them for Spain. In 1521, he died in a battle with islanders. In September 1522, 3 years after departing, the sole surviving ship of the fleet returned to Spain. Only 18 crew members survived. They had achieved the most difficult navigational feat of the age. They had circumnavigated or sailed completely around the world. Captain, we only have 18 of the 270 people left. What tools aided exploration? Voyages of exploration could not have been made without advances in sailing technology. These included improvements in map-making, navigation, and shipbuilding. More accurate maps. For 1300 years, explorers had been guided by the works of ancient Egyptian geographer Ptolemy. Crusaders and medieval traders also made maps. Catalans, Genoese, Iberian Jews, Iberian Muslims, Moors, and Portuguese created maps such as Talian Altus, 1375. Though valuable, these early maps were inaccurate or incomplete. During the Renaissance period, mapmakers developed the science of making maps and globes, known as cartography. Those who made more accurate maps and atlases and globes were called cartographers. In 1569, Gerardus Mercator discovered how to project the curved surface of the globe into a flat page. His world map distorted extreme northern and southern regions, but left the most traveled areas of the globe undistorted. Mercator projections, as these maps are called, continue to be used today. Advances in navigation. The most commonly used navigational tool was the magnetic compass, used to show direction. This device was invented in China and came to Europe via Silk Road traders. Navigators also used the astrolabe, which determined the ship's north-south position based on measurements of the stars. These tools sailors could navigate without being too close to land. Understanding winds. Understanding ocean winds was vital to Europe explorers. After much trial and error, mariners learned that winds were divided into zones and that these zones could change the seasons. They could map travel routes to catch best winds. Explorers could also determine the best time of year to catch the winds for their voyages. The shipbuilding revolution. The Renaissance also launched a revolution in shipbuilding. Until the Middle Ages, rowers worked to move ships. These slow and heavy ships needed large crews with many rowers. They were difficult to steer and best suited for calm seas. European craftworkers developed new ocean-going ships. They modified a ship called a caravel, a small, narrow vessel with 2 or 3 masts and triangular sails with fast and easier maneuver in different wind and sea conditions. Oh my god, we're almost done. Europeans view a wider world. The voyages of discovery revealed wonders and created excitement about the natural world. Explorers discovered the vastness of the African continent and the existence of North America and South America. The hidden half of the globe is brought to light, rejoiced a scholar in 1493. Suddenly, even ordinary Europeans wanted to know about world geography. Printers made cheap portables at last to meet the demand. Illustrated travel books became popular for those who wanted to read first-hand accounts of exploration on the sea and land. An account of Magellan's voyage was published as early as 1523 and included interviews with expedition survivors. Is that it? We're done!